Welcome to the latest episode of Five on the Floor on the Five Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for finding us on your favorite podcast app. We're on Spotify, we're on Podbean, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on everything. We're also on Dash Radio. Download the Dash Radio app for free. Search for Nothing But Net. We're there every single day at 7 p.m. Also check out 5reasonsports.com. That's 5reasonsports.com. Brady Hawk's takeaways from tonight's win against the Magic by the Heat are already up, as they are at the buzzer every single time. Also, check out the great sponsors of the Five Reasons Sports Network. It includes our friends, one of our longest-term sponsors over at the law firm of Seltzer Mayberg. If you've been hurt, not caught, but hurt in a car accident, you got a traffic ticket caught by the police for a traffic ticket, or a slip and fall, call the law offices of Seltzer Mayberg at 855-5000-LAW. That's 855-5000-LAW, or go to onecalllegal.com. That's ONE calllegal.com. If you mention Five Reasons, you get a free consultation. That's right. Just mention Five Reasons to Eric or anybody else down there. You will get a free consultation. They've got 24/7 availability. So again, check the website, onecalllegal.com, ONE calllegal.com. They'll make sure you work directly with the right attorney to get you the compensation that you deserve. So again, check it out. They do all kinds of law there beyond the ones I talked about. They do sports law. They do immigration law. They do divorce law. They do everything at the Seltzer Mayberg law firm. Just, again, mention Five Reasons, one of our longest standing sponsors. Support the sponsors that support us. And like so many of our sponsors, they're local, right there in North Miami, right near the Golden Glades off of I-95. And now, tonight's episode.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5
on the floor.
Welcome to Five on the Floor, a daily show on the Miami Heat and the NBA featuring Ethan Skolnick with Alex Toledo and Greg Sylvander, part of the Five Reasons Sports Network.
All right, Ethan Skolnick back on Five on the Floor. Here's today's floor plan. I got Greg Sylvander. I've got Alex Toledo. Alex is actually at the arena right now on the one-year anniversary of the night that everything shut down. And I actually was at that one. I don't think Alex went to that one, but I was at that one against Charlotte 1 year ago today, when basically the Heat blew a 30-point lead without Jimmy Butler to Charlotte. And during that game, of course, the Rudy Gobert stuff had already happened. The OKC shutdown. And then essentially we kind of figured we weren't going to be back in that arena for the rest of the season, and we were not. And then, of course, a 3-month break before the bubble, the Heat go to the finals where they lose. Now back tonight, a few more fans in the stands than have been there recently. The Heat are wearing those earned edition jerseys, which I hate. Another conversation entirely. But they do beat the Magic tonight. Tied at the end of 3 after they had a bad third quarter, did not shoot the ball particularly well again from 3. No Bam Adebayo, but no excuses. Orlando was without 6 players that were supposed to be part of their rotation when the season started. This shouldn't have been that close. I said Dwayne Bacon's probably going for 25 tonight. I think he ended up with 21. Vucevic had a big game against Miami, but Jimmy Butler with a great performance and Kelly Olynyk with a really good performance. And Greg, that's kind of where I want to start with you, because there's been so much conversation about Kelly Olynyk and the idea of, do you replace him or do you supplement him? I think we have kind of come down on the side of supplementing him somehow, unless you get a couple of players for your rotation in your front court. That essentially replacing Olynyk with LaMarcus Aldridge at this point may not even be an upgrade and sort of defeats the purpose. And I saw tonight, again, why supplementing him may be the best idea. I thought this was his best defensive game of the year. He got them going offensively early. We know he's inconsistent, but really he's their only big when Bam's not in there. Precious didn't even play the second half. I thought this was a little bit of a KO statement game.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's played really well now throughout this streak where they've started to string together victories. I think he's been in double figures maybe 5 times now in along the way here. I know against New Orleans, he was 7 of 8 and, shot really well in heavy minutes, and then came back in this game and was, highly effective again in more minutes than I think they ever envisioned him playing. It's just this thing that we all know is that it's not sustainable. The inconsistencies are going to come back, but he's a vital part of what they're doing, particularly when he's one of the players who's shooting from three at any level of efficient. So I just feel like there's things he brings to the games that like a player like LaMarcus Aldridge is not going to replace that stuff. It would be much better to have him as an addition when we talk about trade candidates and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we talk about them needing another big tonight, Alex. Look, they started KZ Okpala, 3 fouls in 5 minutes. It doesn't look like he knows where to go on offense, even though he brings some energy. Harkless played after him, had some moments and then some bad moments. Precious got yelled at by Spoelstra for throwing the ball away and didn't play again in the second half. Silva played. I mean, there were a couple of moments there, but nothing really to speak of. I mean, it's just KO right now, right? Essentially, when Bam's not in there.
Oh, no doubt, 100%. And I completely agree with everything you guys have said so far. I think the idea would be, in a potential trade for LaMarcus Aldridge on his own would be to supplement the front court rotation and add it to Kelly and Andre, not to get rid of Kelly. And you're right. I think we had the conversation the other night on the stream. On Floor is Yours. Whether or not he's an upgrade, I think that's debatable. But the thing is, they both bring completely different aspects of the game. Defensively, LaMarcus can't do what Kelly does, right? I think, and not to, Kelly is some awesome defender, but he can contain guys at, multiple levels on the floor, whereas LaMarcus is a lot more stiff with his legs than Kelly is, which is a crazy thing to say. And, maybe LaMarcus comes over here and gets in better shape, but that's somebody that you want to add, right? I don't think you want to take away Kelly now in a scenario where him and Rudy Gay come together. And again, I don't know if that's something that can happen or not because of how much you got to match salary-wise. I think that's a conversation where you can maybe talk about letting go of Kelly. But just with LaMarcus on his own, I think you definitely want to supplement him to what they've got right now.
And I just want to speak to this because for those who haven't heard our other content today, and I recommend that you try to check out everything, especially what's on our YouTube channel. As we speak right now, Royal's hosting the show that we're going to call The Final Floor, whether he likes it or not, the post-game show over on YouTube. But on Before Floor, Greg and I spoke about our reporting today. Greg reported yesterday that was the first to report of the interest that was had by the Heat in Aldridge, that there are conversations there. And then essentially, I followed that with a report today after Barry had reported for the Herald, essentially confirming what Greg reported yesterday. I reported today that they do have interest in Aldridge, but really, most of the interest is in Rudy Gay with the Spurs, that Aldridge would be the other piece. And again, like Alex mentioned, there's a lot of salary that you've got to trade to get there if you're going to get those two guys. And in that case, Olynyk's probably going to be part of a trade, most likely, just to make the numbers work. I just don't believe in trading Olynyk for Aldridge without getting another significant front court piece. And I actually think at this stage, I agree with the Heat. I think Rudy Gay is the more significant front court piece at this stage of his career than LaMarcus Aldridge is. But let's pivot. I'm going to go back to you here, Alex, and then I'll go to Greg after this. I mean, the other players we saw on the front court tonight, did anybody catch your eye? I mean, they played 4 of them. Precious, Silva, Okpala, and Harkless all played. Did any of them stand out to you in a positive way?
Not particularly. I think Okpala and Harkless both had moments, but again, just not consistently enough where they're just keeping it going in their role the whole time they're out there. They're both just kind of up and down. And KZ had, would show some points where he played good defense. Same thing with Mo. They both hit a 3. That's cool. That's better than a lot of the other games they've had. So that's good. Other than that, it was Kelly tonight. Everything you said before, that's what they have, especially without Bam on the floor. And Chris Silva, I just he is not good. And it made me laugh that Spo just kind of kept playing him and did not put Precious back in the game, because that's how you know Spo was actually angry at him. Yeah. So that part was pretty funny. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty barren.
I was waiting for UD to get his first minutes of the season tonight, actually.
He might give you more than Silva at this point.
Right.
I mean, he might for sure. Greg, again, did they just miss on all of these guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to stand up for any of what we've seen from even Mo Harkless tonight in what he did, for anyone to be saying, oh, Mo Harkless had a good game tonight, and then you kind of look at what he did, it's just relative to how bad he's been.
Exactly.
KZ Okpala, I just don't see it. I'm really I'm probably as down on him as I've been on a young Heat prospect as far back as I can remember, honestly. Like, I just don't see it, and I don't see him putting it together, which is unfortunate. And you're running out of wings at that point. And so it's just a situation where Jimmy is having to do so much and make up for so much.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Jimmy more, and I think we're going to devote an entire episode to Jimmy over the weekend. And Jimmy was incredible tonight again. Just the ability to know when he has to go, even the corner three tonight, that pocket pass he threw. I mean, he's just playing at such an elite skill level at this point and an elite IQ level, and he's carrying them. I mean, if he hadn't only played, 22 or something games, he should be and would be an MVP candidate. But I want to go back to KZ, and then we're going to focus on the shooting in the second part of this episode. He has never been in a summer league, okay? That first year, remember, they traded for him on draft night. He wasn't eligible, I think, until July 6th because of that. And by that time, I was out in Vegas, at that point. The first 5 days, KZ couldn't play. They decided not to put him in. He had a mild injury, I think. And so they didn't put him in at all. He just has had no opportunity to get comfortable. But I'm with you, Greg. It just looks like some guys are lost on defense, but he looks lost on offense. Like, he doesn't, I don't know. It's weird, right? Like, young players, we see that in Spoelstra's system sometimes, that they don't really know where to play defensively. Look, we saw it with Michael Beasley, among others. But Beasley knew where to play on offense. Like, I don't know if KZ knows what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like it's a mixture of him being super raw still, and that always just being something that's difficult to break through against polished NBA defensive players, but also just it's like a confidence thing. It's too much thinking. It's not enough just reacting and playing the game, and that tells me that he's in his head to some degree, because it's just everything looks too calculated. And for a player, they were so high on him, 3 second-round picks to acquire him. They had to have really seen some intuitive stuff that we're just not seeing right now.
What's the offensive skill set, Alex? I mean, ideally, like what? Because defensively, I see what they see. Okay, I mean, he has to be more. But like offense, what is the skill set? Does he need the ball in his hands, which he's not going to get on this team with Butler and Dragic?
Maybe a little bit. Like, I don't think of him as some type of like guy who needs to get reps as a lead ball handler or anything like that. And again, I'm absolutely not a college basketball guy. I was not watching Stanford games at any point. Like, I just cannot front about
Alex,
that
the other
whatsoever.
Kid from Stanford looked better than him tonight. I mean,
Chasson Randall? Yeah, he was.
Who's a two-way player. I mean,
Yeah, he was balling tonight, but that just happens when you wear a Magic uniform versus a Heat. So I can't even give him a lot of credit for that. But no, but really the thing with KZ, man, like in college, he had a little bit of a kind of like do-it-all game where they would use him to post up smaller guys. He could kind of do a little bit of stuff with the ball and create his own shot, but he just has no confidence. Like, he's out there on the offensive side of the floor, just kind of floating around. Like you said, doesn't look like he knows where to be. And like, I don't mind him just being like a spot up guy as he grows into that role, but the confidence is just not there. Like, he looks like he needs time in the summer league. And maybe that's a cop out, but he just does not look like a polished rotation player at this point. Like, I think Precious has pretty much for the most part all season, and KZ hasn't shown that.
Chris Silva almost played as many minutes as him tonight. I mean, a guy that it's like he was an afterthought, and this is supposed to be like a gem prospect. You know what I mean?
But I'm with Alex. Situation. I'm with Alex. The Silva minutes to me were a little bit of a message to Precious. It came right after that. He yanked him. He put him in, and that is a message that he sends. By the way, Brendan Tobin, our friend over at 790 The Ticket, put up the eyeballs with Dragic talking to Vucevic after the game. So I'm sure that'll get a little bit of attention. We did an episode on Vucevic the other day. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the shooting problems because this has gone long enough. Okay, this is supposed to be an elite shooting team. They are not an elite shooting team by the numbers. They went at one point 1 of 16 in the third quarter until Iguodala hit a 3. So we got to get into that a little bit. Before we do, though, I want to tell you about a great new site that we're partnering with. It's called Best Ever, and you can find them at bstevr.com. That's bstevr.com. The NBA will be up soon there. So far, they got NFL. This is a site where you can simulate anything. You can simulate old teams against new teams. They'll give you a full game story and a box score. So if you got an argument with your friends, put players from the past against players from from current teams. You can swap out players. We're going to do something this week where we're going to put Juju Schuster and Aaron Jones on the Dolphins and see how that would play out if they were playing with Tua. So again, this is a great argument settler. We're going to do a lot of this with the NBA when they launch the NBA side later this month. So make sure you get on there. It's free. So just go on, sign up. Nothing to lose there. It's bstevr.com. This is the coolest new simulation. And again, we're going to be doing these simulations on our website at 5reasonsports.com and also at 5 Reasons YouTube. Also, as we speak, make sure you get to the website. Our guy, Adam Smoot, just put up a new Panthers shirt. The Panthers came back from 4-1 down in the third and won tonight. So we got a new Cardiac Cats shirt that's up on the site. Just went up tonight. There'll be some new Heat shirts up there in the next few days as well. All right. Let's get to the shooting struggles. I saw, was it you, Alex? You sent me the number here. What are they, 22nd in the NBA in three-point shooting now?
That sounds right.
3-point percentage, yep. After being number 2 pretty much for all season last season. Down 3 percentage points.
So what? I mean, look, we've talked about Tyler's struggles to kind of get in a rhythm. He got in a rhythm tonight, not from 3, but he got in a little bit of rhythm in the third quarter. What's going on there? I mean, Duncan didn't do much else tonight. He made I think he ended up with 3 threes, but missed a ton of them. What's happened here? I mean, other than they haven't really lost any 3-point shooting from last year, other than Myers at the start of the season and Jay Crowder at the second half of the season. So why are they shooting so much poorer?
No, oh, my bad, Greg. Go ahead.
No. There's just a couple things that jump off to me. I mean, it's like Duncan Robinson is 3 percentage points down. Tyler Hero is not the same shooter. To me, I think that this all, when you see how much they rely on shooting to get 45 3-point attempts, that's just like almost egregious to me that we've arrived at a place where the league is trending to the point where we're shooting 45. I mean, the Heat got more shots at the basket. It's just crazy. But we're out rebounded by the Magic tonight. And it's just such a bizarre box score. And you just see them chucking up threes. And you see Olynyk 4 of 8. Like, this is a good example of a guy, like, you can't afford. The only guy who was hitting tonight was Kelly Olynyk. And he's been having games like that recently. So I just feel like any shooting you can get right now, you got to hold on to because it's so inconsistent.
Alex, I mean, I was screaming for a back cut in the third quarter, like something. It was just the offense just became standstill 3-point shots. Is it the types of shots they're getting that's the problem? The way that the offense is feeding guys? Are guys just out of rhythm? I mean, we're 37 games into this season now. Enough of their shooters have played enough games.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't think there's any easy answer for what's going on with the Heat shooting. Compared to last season. I think one thing that definitely has to do with it is teams kind of adjusting and knowing that the Heat are almost always looking for a 3. Not saying that Spo doesn't want his guys to, get shots at the rim, but like they have a full sample of what this team was last season. And that team was one that is constantly looking to find the jumpers. And I think, tonight was one of those nights where whenever they're missing Jimmy or Bam, like they're just always going to have that uptick in threes where it's even more than usual. And I kind of expected it. I think it's a roster thing too. Like a lot of their guys outside of Jimmy and Bam, that's what they're here to do, is shoot the ball, right? And it could be in different ways. Whereas Duncan Robinson, we know the type of shooting role that he has, and it's not the same as the type of shooting role that Hero has or Kendrick Nunn has or even Goran. Like they all operate as shooters in different ways. So there's some creativity to it. But at the end of the day, and there you go to fill the quota, like that's what they're looking to do, right? And I think that's kind of related to why you need Jimmy to have these games like this so often, just to beat teams that don't really, maybe you don't want Jimmy to have these types of games, versus where it's like Jimmy has to go out and be the only one to attack the rim a lot of times. Like Goran did not really have a great night in that aspect. He looked kind of slow, but like he is the one with the north-south movement there. And I think he's the one that's just really good at punishing switches and punishing just most of the guys who guard him in general. And last year he was able to coast and not have to turn into that guy for most of the game. And that's just not the case with this year. Like they need to, I think they're too outside in.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, again, Eric Spoelstra's quote tonight, Brady just tweeted this one out. Eric Spoelstra on Jimmy Butler's load. As long as we're able to manage the minutes, he's always staring at me. I'm sure he'd be willing to play those early Chicago minutes. Being willing to do it and being forced to do it because others can't carry. He came back earlier in the fourth quarter tonight than he typically does. Typically, it's about a little bit under the 8-minute mark. He came in before that. Again, it speaks to the fact, like, against a team like this, I know you don't have your second all-star quality player, but against a team like this, you should have enough, okay? I mean, you're going against the Dwayne Bacons and a bunch of two-way contracts in addition to Vucevic. Kem Birch, a player that you gave up on a few years ago. Mo Bamba, a player that I don't know why Orlando drafted him, since their best player plays the same damn position. It is not a great situation. I said in the second quarter, this is not a game you should require Jimmy to take over. Now, ultimately, they averted that because they had a good start to the fourth, but it shouldn't have gotten to that point, in my view. And that's something we're going to discuss going forward is, can they get enough out of other guys, particularly the shooters, that Jimmy doesn't have to do this all the time. All right, that's it for tonight. I'm going to check out what they're doing on the stream right now. Again, check out Best Ever. That's bstevr.com, onecalllegal.com, Seltzer Mayberg Law Firm. Also, welcome to our newest sponsor. They sponsor in the post-game show tonight, Miami Grill. I'm going to check that out for lunch tomorrow. They brought some gyros and some wings to our event at the Biscayne Bay Brew House. So all of our sponsors coming together. If you want to sponsor us, just reach out to me by 5 Reasons Sports DM. Have a great night.
Thank you for listening to the 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.